Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Marvel Champions, and today we're taking on scenario 4 of 5 from the worst expansion, Galaxy's Most Wanted, which is Nebula. But I've got to tell you, even though last time I said I would never try either version of the Collector again, some friends wanted to play a little Marvel Champions. We played digitally online sometimes, and I decided to subject them to both versions of the Collector without going into detail as to why I didn't have a good time with them. Just because I wanted to see, maybe that was just a really bad bit of luck I had. Maybe it just is fair, but I just had unlucky time, or maybe Groot was just really bad with his default deck. So we tried it. We tried both versions of the Collector, 3 of us against him, and it went about as expected. Horrible losses, utterly no way to win at all, and just not any fun to play against. I did hear some more backstory regarding the release of this expansion from my friend who went into more detail. Apparently, backlash from the Rise of the Red Skull was, hey, this is way too easy. So they went a bit too far in the other direction this time. That said, let's go look at Nebula. So let's take a look at Nebula, second last villain in this box, with Ronan being the last one, who I believe is considered to be the most unfair villain in the entire game, counting every single release. Definitely looking forward to that. And we are still pretending this is part of a scenario, even though I've lost every single one. So Nebula has stolen the Power Stone. She starts with it equipped to herself. She is trying to escape in her ship, and this is called the Art of Evasion. As part of the mission, we're trying to shoot her down in the Milano. We'll have control of the Milano again. As part of the scenario, guerrilla tactics is set up because we're playing a linked campaign technically, and that's just to earn extra credits. I'll be ignoring that like I've ignored every other one, because we will not have time to clear the threat off of it. She's scheme of 1, attack of 2. The first technique attachment revealed each round gains Surge, and when she initiates an attack against you, you resolve the special ability on every technique she has equipped, which will be nasty. The Power Stone is +1 scheme or thwart and +1 attack. It's worded like that because if we deal 3 or more damage to her in a single hit, we actually steal it from her and we gain control of it. But if she hits us for 3 or more damage, she steals it back. So it's going to go back and forth. Her ship. When the villain phase begins, you put an evasion counter on the ship. You can also exhaust the Milano and spend up to 2 resources to remove up to 2 evasion counters from it. The evasion counters are important because they basically add threat to the main scheme, and on that note, we can take a look at the Art of Evasion. So we're using her cards, the Power Stone, Ship Command Deck, Standard Encounter Set, and Space Pirates. Put Nebula's ship into play, attach the Power Stone to Nebula, discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, then attach each technique attachment discarded this way to Nebula. We'll do that now because we have to do it before we flip it over. That's not a technique. That is a technique. It has the keyword technique. It is a cutthroat ambition. Attached to Nebula, Nebula cannot take more than 5 damage from a single attack. And the special thing is placing threat on the main scheme. So there we go. That is everything. And we flip this over and we get to how we actually win or lose. But there is a second step if this one maxes out. 6 threat per player. Starts with 2 and it gets plus X threat per villain phase. X is equal to the number of evasion counters on her ship, so that's going to be hard to take command of as Groot. It starts with 2, as I said, so there we go, and that's the setup for what is bound to be a nasty kick in the pants for poor Groot. So just real quick to go over Groot, as I said, we have control of the Milano again, so we can tap it to get a wildcard resource. You also need to tap it to counter a lot of the ship command encounter cards, and we can tap it and spend resources to get rid of evasion counters as well. With the 2 credits in total we had, I have purchased Creative Solution, so that's going to be added to the deck. I'll shuffle it in before we start doing our mulligan, etc. And that was the last card that cost 2, I think. Or the last one that seemed useful that cost 2 anyway. So that's going to be in our deck. That's the only other addition, along with the 2 other cards from previous episodes. So I'll do that, give it a shuffle, and we'll get started after this quick word from my channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So, just finished the shuffle here on camera as always to prove it has been shuffled both to you and me, because sometimes the cards I draw make it seem like it has not been shuffled, but I assure you they have. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and see what we're mulliganing. I need his upgrades. So let's see, we've got Rocket, Power Protection, Deft Focus, Hard to Ignore, Fighting Fit, and Fighting Fit. Getting both Fighting Fits, actually, does that do enough? If I'm at full health, it does 5, so that would mean we could snatch the Power Stone straight away, so I definitely want those. And to get both those out, I'm going to need to spend, well, that counts for 1. And this could count for the other. Yeah, I'm actually not going to mulligan any of this, even though there's no Groot cards, because I think we can have a really strong opening gambit with those. And if we have the Power Stone, at least we're tougher, and we can deal with Thwart better. Yeah, I'm going to keep this hand. We're not going to mulligan it at all. So here we go. As the game gets started, we're doing turn 1 play as Groot. We're getting 2 growth counters, and then flipping up to attack formation with 2 growth on us. And we have a course of action set out. I want that Power Stone for myself, so we'll play Power Protection to do Fighting Fit for free. It counts as 2 if you're paying for a protection card, and that is deal 2 damage to a villain, or 5 if you are at or above your starting health points, which we are because the game has literally just started. I forgot to mention Nebula has 14 health in phase 1. That upgrade means she can't take more than 5 damage in a single attack. It's doing exactly 5 though, so that's fine. And because we did 3 or more damage, the Power Stone gets attached to me. So +1/+1, and that's it. But that's a nice buff. Put it here actually, so it's easier to remember. It might go back to her depending on how hard she hits us, but Groot's good at defense, so I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. On that note, let's tap the Milano to give us a wild card, get rid of the hard to ignore, and play the other Fighting Fit. And hit her again. It's a separate instance of 5 damage, that means she's immediately down to 4 health remaining. And then I'm going to get rid of Rocket, unfortunately, to equip Dev Focus. That's reminded me as well, I used the Groot Rocket team up without Rocket being on the table, because it had a choice of what you do with it, and I think it still needs both of them out. So I did do that one wrong in a previous episode. Either way, I'll put Dev Focus down here, it's not a super important upgrade. I can tap it to make its superpower cost 1 less. And last thing to do then, let's thwart with Groot. Normally just 1, Power Stone makes it 2, to clear out the art of evasion, at least so far. And that's my turn, so we'll draw 5 and see where we go from here. Oh, the exact card I'm talking about, yeah, team up. Rocket would have had to be on the table for it to work, so I did use this one wrong in a previous video. Creative Solution, Deft Focus, and we are Groot. We finally got a Groot card. My shuffling is working against me, I swear. Anyway, so 1 threat still goes on the main scheme as normal, and then, oh sorry, it doesn't. It would be, it's X and currently it's 0, so I guess technically it would get nothing right now then, because this is when the villain oh no, that happens first. When the villain phase begins, so it does get 1. Because the villain phase begins, then 1 threat goes on per whatever. So yeah, alright, fine. She is attacking, and what is this doing for us? It's just going to mean that 1 threat goes on the main scheme. Her base attack is 2. She's not likely to do 3 damage to us, so I'll take the hit without blocking. So 2, and star. After this activation ends, attach this card to Nebula and resolve its special ability, so it doesn't go on yet. So it's just 2, and I could get rid of growth counters. I'll get rid of 1 growth counter and take 1 damage. I have plans for that last one potentially. So, when Nebula initiates an activation against you, resolve the special ability on each technique attachment in play and then discard each of those attachments. So this also happens now, I think, after this activation ends. So this would happen first, 1 threat in the main scheme, and then it gets discarded. So she cycles her deck really quick then, I guess. And the special one of this is 1 damage. I'll just take the 1 damage, and then I guess it goes away as well. And then an encounter card. Special delivery, when revealed, we're in hero form. You may exhaust the Milano. If you do not, the villain attacks you with +1 attack. I'll exhaust the Milano. See, that's what I'm talking about. Just randomly shooting missiles at us in space. Well, I said I had a plan for that last growth counter. We're going to spend Deft Focus to play We Are Groot. You can remove up to 4 growth counters, and you can apply Tough to allies based on the number you spent. Obviously, I just need to spend the 1 to make Groot tough. Then, we do have Creative Solution. It works better if there's a stats effect on the enemy, because you get more value out of it. But it's free, so hey, I'll do it. We'll try and get something. We're basically just doing the first part because it's draw one card and remove. Oh, actually, it doesn't say and or. What if I tried to use this when there's no status of cards on the table, though? Draw one card and remove a status of card from any character. If the status card removed was a tough, you would deal 3 damage. What if I'd done that first when there was no statuses? It doesn't say what to do. So let's pretend I did do that before giving myself tough with Groot. So I'm just going to draw a card because it doesn't say you can't do it in that order. So, oh, in Defiance. Well, that's fine. We can't play any more than one Deft Focus in our hand. I just realised I could have tapped Deft Focus for to make it free, actually, because it had the superpower keyword, didn't it? It did, so I'll be taking back the other Deft Focus, not that I want it, but I could have paid it for free, so I might as well. My hand is rubbish. I'll be keeping this, discarding these. And for our turn, let's hit Nebula for 3, put her on 1 health remaining. Because I think the only way to do well with Groot against the villains in this expansion is just ignore objectives and just try and kill them as fast as possible. We're staying in hero form, ready up the Milano again. I have 1 card in hand, so we're drawing 4. I am Groot, power protection, indomitable, and I am Groot. Not great for us, unfortunately, because we don't have a lot of growth counters, but that's okay. So, 1 threat on the main scheme. No, sorry, first 1 evasion counter. Then it would be 2 threat on the main scheme, because there's 2 evasion counters, which means it's at 4 of the 6 it's needing. Nebula is attacking us. I'm just taking it because it is a tough. Place 1 evasion counter on Nebula's ship, and she's hitting for 3. The tough absorbs that, and we take no damage. But that is another evasion counter. I'll just replace it with a 3 there. And then encounter card. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a technique attachment is discarded. Reveal that card, then resolve its special ability. Alrighty. That is not a technique. That is not a technique, it's a lackey. That's not a technique. I'm kind of glad that one's gone, honestly. That's the last thing we need. That is not a technique. Nope. Yes. So we reveal it and do its special thing, and then I presume the forced interrupt would happen, which gets rid of it. No, she's already initiated an attack, so this would actually stay for another round. We take 1 damage, and I will just take the 1 damage down to 7. So for this turn I'm going to tap the Milano and spend 2 resources, both the Groot cards because they're not any use to me unfortunately, to get rid of 2 evasion counters. Like that. So that means it's going to be gaining 2 plus any potential from an encounter card that tells her to scheme or something like that. I was wanting Groot upgrades before knocking her down to phase 2. We have good defensive cards left in hand, so this time I probably am going to defend because there's going to be some more damage coming in. Let's thwart for 2. 1 plus 1 to keep that down. And that's my turn. Yep. So, ready the Milano. We have 3 cards left in hand. Power Protection, Indomitable, and In Defiance. So I'm drawn 2. Starhawk. No, that's not bad actually. And Root Stomp, also not bad. That's pretty good in fact. So, villain turn begins. Evasion counter. 2 threat on main scheme. Nebula is attacking us. Which method of defense am I going to use against her? I forgot that Indomitable is an upgrade. You need to play it first, so that's a problem. We will play In Defiance, and then. Well, actually, I don't need to use it ahead of how much damage I'm doing or being dealt. I need to see how much damage is being dealt. So, will I defend? No, I'll take the hit and reduce the damage down. So she's hitting for 2. After this activation ends, attach this card to Nebula and resolve its special. So she's still just hitting for 2. In Defiance, when an enemy would take when an identity would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent 2 of it and draw a card. So we take no damage and draw. That's the one I thought I had. I was getting that and Indomitable confused. So she's initiated an attack against you, resolve the special ability. So we would take 1 damage from this, and I will just have to take it. So we're down to 6 health. Then that goes away. And then, after the activation ends, her activation has ended, attach this to Nebula, resolve the special, and it's place 1 threat on the main scheme. So it's up to 5 of the 6 needed. And then tactics, encounter card rather. It is a pirate commander with 6 health and quick strike. After this minion attacks and damages you, remove 1 card at random from your hand from the game. Well, she's initiating an attack against us with quick strike for 2 damage. I will use Indomitable to spend on Desperate Defense. We block, we fully block it because she's only hitting for 2, and because I fully blocked with no damage, I get to re-ready. It reduces my options for next turn, but hey, that at least gives us a chance to fight, potentially. So we've got a difficult choice because I can either bring out Starhawk, have him hit Nebula, get her to phase 2, and then root stomp her to do 5 damage to her, which I'm sure will be roughly a third of her health, roughly speaking. And the other alternative is I do all that, but specifically just against the pirate commander to get rid of them, because they're powerful and they can steal my cards. I don't think I can avoid the Art of Evasion capping out and moving on to the next step, nor do I really want to, because as I say, I think trying to nuke her down is really Groot's only sane option, unfortunately, because his thwart is so terrible. So, yeah, let's just go for Nebula, let's just try it. So power protection, it's worth 2 if I'm paying for a protection card. Starhawk comes out. Normally you want to thwart with him. I'll move the Milan over here. Normally you want to thwart with him the first time he comes out, but I'm going to attack for 2. He takes 2 consequential damage, and he's hitting Nebula, and that takes her down to phase 2. So let's see how bad she gets on phase 2. Looks like her rolls are exactly the same. She has 17 health, so almost 17 health, and she's a 2-2 now instead of a 1-2. Then we're going to tap the Milano, tap Death Focus to make a superpower 1 cheaper, so Root Stomp only costs 1, and we're going to smack her for 5, putting her down to 12. Then Groot will attack her for 3 because of the Power Stone, put her down to 9, and then I'm flipping down. And that's my turn, so everything readies, and we're drawing 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dauntless, Fertile Ground, Desperate Defense, Vine Shield, Energy, and Genius. Well, we want damage now because I've chosen my path, but too late for that. So 1 evasion counter on her ship. It caps out Art of Evasion as we start the round, or start the villain phase rather. So it goes to Warp Drive initiated. Place 2 evasion counters on Nebula's ship. For each evasion counter on Nebula's ship, discard the top 2 cards of each player's deck and the encounter deck. So she's up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What would I have? Oh, I really would have wanted the Root Stomp. That's the one bad thing we lost there. That's a shame. So once all that's done... Oh, it was only... Wait, top 2 cards? Where did I get 5 from? Place 2 evasion... Oh, because it's for every... For each evasion counter on Nebula's ship, discard the top 2 cards. Wait, so we're actually losing 10. That's much worse. Yeah, we're losing 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I already did 5. That's so much worse. Doesn't really matter what's in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not too fussed about losing those. Yeah, that's not so bad. Okay, so now it goes on to this. It needs to get 9 for us to lose. It's still gaining X per turn based on evasion, which is annoying. Are we going to be able to kill her with 9 health? I'm doing 3 per turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I can find 1 damage somewhere else, I actually could. Anyway, this starts with 3 per player. Then the Pirate Commander's adding 2, so that's just peachy. There we go, that's 5 of the 9 already. She attacked us, so then this happens. 1 threat on the main screen, that's excellent. So that's it up to 6. And then encounter card. Ruthless, we're in alter ego form. Nebula schemes. If threat is placed by this activation, place 1 evasion counter on her ship. Great. So that's oh, that's 6 we just lost. Excellent. Well, you know, that life comes at you fast. So there's the 6, and what was the other part if she activated against us or whatever? she gets more evasive as well. She's just serpentining through space. And then this would happen, which also places one threat on the main scheme because she attacked, or rather she activated against us. It doesn't have to be an attack. And then this, we already added 2 from her, right? I forgot about the threat there. Yeah, so that's dumb. But we're going to play on one more turn because I want to see if I can kill her. So we'll put 2 growth counters on ourselves. We will flip up without healing because I'm just going to see if I can destroy her. And I have nothing in my hand that adds to my damage, unfortunately. So it's just a case of Starhawk's going to hit her for 2, get taken out, and I'm hitting her for 3, so that's 5 damage, leaving her on 4. Yeah, meaning I would need one more turn and to find 1 damage somewhere to be able to do it, which is not likely, really. And I'll get rid of Fertile Ground to play Vine Shield. And we would end our turn there. I just want to see if I can kill her. So, don't care about any of the threat stuff, whatever. She is attacking. This would go into play. Each enemy gets +1 attack. Excellent. So she is only hitting for 2 currently. And I forgot to do Desperate Defense, but no, actually no, I choose to now. I'll pay for Desperate Defense. That absorbs that damage and re-readies me. Pirate Commander hits us for 2. I'll just take the 2. Puts us down to 4. Encounter card is a Pirate Lackey with Quick Strikes. There's 2 more damage. It puts us on 2 health. And oh, I forgot to draw more cards. This is the important part. One of these 3 cards, because I have 2 left in hand, need to do at least 1 damage in some form. Yes, that deals 2. We can actually kill her. If you ignore the fact that the uncontrollable threat capped out, yeah, we just win here by damage because we can attack for 3, which leaves her on 1 health, and then I can play Fruition for fun to get 2 more growth counters, but that doesn't matter. It's a case of just spending Genius on Fighting Fit. I'm certainly not Fighting Fit, but it does 2 damage. It only does 5 if you're at max health or above, but that would have been enough that we won 2 turns later just by attacking her. Again, the only option is just to try and kill them as fast as possible and ignore every optional objective. So a sort of win there if you ignore the absolutely unfair mechanics up here as per usual. So for beating Nebula, you earn a bunch of pennies. We only get 1 just for doing it because we didn't do anything else. The Headhunter was in there again, didn't run into him. And it turns out she was delivering the Power Stone to Ronan in his ship. The worst villain in the entire game, apparently. So that'll be fun. Yep, Ronan the Accuser. So we'll certainly see what he is like next time. But yeah, not great. Nebula again, just out of control threat. You would have to use Justice against her, and if you did that, the game would take forever because you wouldn't be doing enough damage consistently. So not fun. Again, not as bad as the Collector, we'll say that, because we did win, we technically beat her. It's just that the threat got out of control 2 turns before we won. So yeah, it's hopefully the next one is better. To quote, I was going to say John Wood. That's not his name. What is his name? I don't remember his name. Either way, thank you for watching, and next time will be the finale to Galaxy's Most Wanted, and then we can put it all behind us. Until then, ta-ta for now.